funny flamingo. This is a flamingo. Flora the flamingo, this is Flora the flamingo, was just like any other flamingo you might happen to meet. She was tall, elegant that means very pretty, and very pink. The problem was Flora was getting quite bored of being tall. She was getting quite bored of being elegant, and most of all, she was getting really bored of being pink. Oh dear. Just then, a fairy appeared by the flamingo pool. A fairy appeared. "Can I help?" she said, waving her wand in the air. Flora flapped her wings excitedly. "Yes, please," she replied. "I wish you could make me different." The fairy raised her wand high in the air. "I can do that," the fairy replied. So the fairy's gonna make Flora the flamingo different. Oh dear! In a flash, Flora's feathers had gone. Her skin felt all slippery and she was surrounded by dolphins. So now she looks like dolphins. Her skin is slippery like dolphins. "Brrr!" shivered Flora. "I'm far too cold without my feathers," she cried. "I think I would like to be something else instead." So, the fairy thought for a moment and waved her wand again. Now Flora was deep in the jungle and covered in stripy tiger fur. So now she looks like tiger. "Phew!" gasped Flora. "It's very warm in the jungle with all this fur. Do you think I could be something else instead?" So Flora wants to be something else instead because she's too hot in this fur. The fairy thought hard for a moment. Flora didn't like being cold without her feathers, and she didn't like being too hot in fur. "I know," said the fairy, waving her wand once more. This time, Flora found herself high up in a tree. She was happy to see her feathers, so now she has feathers. But now they had changed color, so her feathers are not pink anymore, they are brown. Flora looked at the little bird next to her. So Flora saw this little bird. "Hello," Flora said. Would you mind telling me what you are?" So Flora asked the owl, "Who are you? What are you?" The little bird looked confused. "I am an owl, of course," replied the little owl. "But what on earth are you? I've never seen an owl so big or with such long legs." So cute, right, the owl? Flora had to admit it was getting a bit uncomfortable high up on a branch, and she didn't think her new brown feathers suited her at all. So Flora didn't like being high up on a branch, and she didn't like her brown feathers. "Perhaps I would be better back on the ground." So Flora wants to be back on the ground. Flora told the fairy. "As you wish," replied the fairy with a glint in her eye. The bright flash from the fairy's wand made Flora shut her eyes tight, and when she opened them again, she realized she was somewhere she had never been before. Oh dear, she looks like cow now. Where am I?" Flora started. "You are on a farm," replied a friendly cat. Flora looked down at her feathers. They were black and white, and she could feel two little horns on top of her head. "She doesn't look like any cow I've ever seen," said the farm's real cow. "That's because I'm not a cow," said Flora miserably, that means sadly. "I'm not an owl or a tiger or a dolphin. Fairy, I need to change right now," Flora said angrily. "I really should give my wand a rest. It's done too much magic today already." So the fairy said, Flora told the fairy, I need you to change me again. But the fairy said, "I need to give my wand a rest because she has done too much magic today, right?" But Flora didn't listen. So what did Flora do? Flora tried to take the little fairy's wand, so Flora tried to snatch the wand away. But as she did, a bright light shot out of the end of the wand and covered Flora in a wave of sparkles. And what happened? Flora couldn't believe her eyes. She was now a mixture of all the animals. So she's all the animals now, from her tiger's tail all the way up to the cow's horns. Flora wanted to be different, but now she felt miserable. Miserable, that means very sad. I'm sorry, Flora said to the little fairy. I shouldn't have tried to take your wand. I just want to go back to being me. The fairy smiled. Perhaps I have one last wish left in my wand. Hold on tight. The fairy swirled around Flora, lifting her high into the air. And then Flora was back in the lagoon with the rest of the flamingos. I'm finally happy, Flora thought. I'm happy being me. The end.